You are listening to All Burgundy and Gold Errrything, powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia. Your host star Glenn and myself, Wole, Ray, Jeezy, and the homie Mo are out. We haven't been on here for a minute, so I know now we back. We took a break. We weren't trying to get y'all BS news, whatever. We wanted to wait till something real happened. Something real went down. And I had to bring on a dope dude, though. You know how I do. I can't bring somebody regular. Gotta bring my guy. So right now we have Sports Journey's Washington Commanders reporter, Lake Lewis. He's also one of the main personalities on ABC Morning News for WOAY TV. What is good, my dude?
What's going on, man? It's been a long time.
I know, right? It's been a while, man. Glad to have you back on, man.
It's good to be here. Good to see you too, Glenn. What's going on?
Nothing much, man. Just chilling, man. I'm just excited to talk about football, man.
Of course, it's that time. Time.
Yeah,
it's exciting time, man. There is there. It's a buzz, man. It's a buzz.
Listen, I haven't been this excited as far as a coach hire. I don't know if ever.
I know,
man. Maybe when Gibbs came back.
Yeah, you know what? That might be it. It may be that far back, man.
Yeah.
This is. Look, this has the potential to be a coup for Washington. I mean, not just as an offensive coordinator, but if this brother does what he's supposed to do, what we all think he's capable of doing, he has the potential to be the guy that, replaces Ron Rivera. And I listen, I know I wasn't in that meeting when, he signed those papers, but I do know there's no way under God's green earth that was not discussed, that there's an agreement, a gentleman agreement somewhere that says that if Ron Rivera steps down, that Eric Bieniemy is the coach in waiting. And like I said, if he comes in and has this offense going up and down the field, scoring points, winning games, people are going to be asking for that sooner than later.
Facts. But before we get into all that, because I'm glad you got into that. Before we get there, man, I'm going to put these particulars real quick. Hey, make sure you subscribe to our All Burgundy and Gold Errrything YouTube channel. Hit the red subscribe button and like this video and a bunch of other videos because it helps us out. All right, man. My man Lake talked about a little bit, but we'll talk about Eric Bieniemy being hired by the Commanders as the new offensive coordinator, and then finally we'll talk about the Commanders probably franchising defensive tackle Daron Payne. But I want to jump into what you were talking about, Lake, in terms of a behind the scenes handshake deal, gentleman's agreement. That's what you said, that if that this job will be Eric Bieniemy's as a head coach, if he is successful. I kind of think that, you know what I mean? I think I was telling a bunch of my friends that just use your common sense. If this offense is dynamic and they had to choose between Coach Rivera and Eric Bieniemy, it's obvious. Any which way you want to think of it. It could be a conspiracy theory. This is to a point where Coach Rivera will move up to the front office, or if the new owner is like, if I got to choose between you and him, who do you think I'm going to choose?
Right. I mean, you got to go with what's going to put people in the seats.
Yep.
And people are already curious right now to see what Eric Bieniemy can do as the primary, play caller. And, it's sad that we have to say that, preface him as primary play caller. I mean, really? I don't think we were having this conversation about Doug Peterson and Matt Nagy when they were offensive coordinators in KC. But all of a sudden, this guy gets Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes is the one that's doing everything out there. And don't get me wrong, we know Patrick Mahomes is
a bad boy.
Is generational. We know that. We know that Travis Kelce is generational tight end. But you can't discredit Eric Bieniemy like that. And I like the fact that a lot of his former players have come to his aid when they got on Shady McCoy.
Yeah,
they got on him about that. Shame on Shady for saying that too, by the way.
Oh, that's a petty dude. Petty. That is a salty dude. Very salty.
He's salty because when you get benched for putting the ball on the ground, and you get a Super Bowl ring because you were inactive, right?
Yeah.
But it's your fault that you put the ball. And it's his job as the coach to tell you how to hold the ball, even though you've been holding it since high school. Ask Tiki Barber, right? Tiki Barber wouldn't offend it when he has fumble issues, and everybody went to New York trying to help Tiki Barber stop fumbling.
He held the ball like this when he was running. But the bottom line is I want my coach to get on whoever, I mean, I don't want preferential treatment. And, I haven't heard any of those Kansas City guys say anything bad about him. Shady McCoy was the only one. And when I heard that, I was a little taken aback by it because I thought, wow, that's odd coming from a running back for a former running back, which Eric Bieniemy was.
Yeah.
But you clearly knew that there was something there, and clearly we know now what it was.
I mean, he's been this way for like since he left Kansas City, and now it's come back up. It's come back into play because of obviously he's getting this job in DC. But it's annoying. It really is. It's annoying on so many different factors. I mean, like one, it's like it is so few coaching jobs for brothers to get to have, and he's trying to build his he's trying to knock this dumb narrative that he can't call plays by himself, right? And then you're going to jump on it. Like you're jumping on a narrative, and you're jumping on a narrative when you're not even knowledgeable enough. This is real. I know you play for the team, but you play for the team for 1 year.
Yeah, he's not
so even if you write,
Yeah, he's not a chief.
Yeah, exactly. You even if you played 1 year and say that 1 year you're correct, right? You're trying to tell me after that 1 year things didn't change? What knowledge do you have after that? So that's my problem. It's like you're obviously talking of a place of spite, and just like you're trying to harm somebody's growth to get a position that few of us have in this game, in the game of football. He's trying to become a head coach. By you saying this, you're trying to hinder him from being a head coach. And then you try to put out there, like when you made this statement, yeah, I think he deserves to be a head coach, but then you're gonna bash him after that. But I mean, what this dude is like, I don't even like talking about Shady. I don't even like talking.
Well, that's the name, Shady.
Yeah,
I mean,
Shady.
He lost credibility big time. And we've seen this before, guys. We've seen former athletes, who were good players, obviously, get moved into the booth, and they feel like in order for them to kind of make a name in the booth, they have to say some dumb stuff. And unfortunately, people are checking people on these things now.
It's good. I'm glad, like you said, though. I am very happy. I'm very happy that you had Tyreek Hill as a player. You had Jamal Charles. Players like that came out and kind of said, nah, Eric is good. Like he's important. Patrick Mahomes as well. Like Eric is good at what he does. Yeah, I know. Like all these dudes came out to his defense, and these are dudes that to me hold more weight than what Shady McCoy has to say.
Yeah, I mean, again, these are guys that were in that locker room and that system. And Shady McCoy was in there for 1 year. Had his mask on, got his ring. Let's call it like it is. So I just thought that was tacky, man. This is, I had somebody reach out to me on Facebook and say, on Twitter and say, why am I saying this stuff? And, why can't we just congratulate Eric Bieniemy for getting this great opportunity? And I'm like, look, we still have jobs to do. And I just want to make sure people understand. And I'm sure you two guys, I can speak for you on behalf of us being Black men. We don't want to have to talk about race.
Not at all.
I don't want to have to talk about why is this guy looked at differently compared to his white counterparts.
Yeah.
But because that's what's going on, I'm going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it's a shame. Listen, this guy just ran through offensively the defensive coordinator for the Eagles. And last time I looked, defensive coordinator for the Eagles, 2 years as a coordinator, he's a head coach now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, the offensive coordinator for the Eagles did wonders with Jalen Hurts, right?
Yep.
He's a head coach now.
Yeah.
And so my thing is, if it's that easy for them, and I'm not knocking them because congratulations to those guys. You want to see young guys get those opportunities. So that's a great thing for everybody. But to have something on Eric Bieniemy, I mean, if he has a checkered past or whatever, it's something because he's supposed to be on somebody's sidelines as a head coach. So as I was going to put out, and somebody close to me told me, I don't think you should tweet these words. Well, I'm going to say what I was going to tweet. Is another man's trash is another man's treasure. So bottom line is, Washington gets a coordinator that normally doesn't fall to you under these circumstances. We're talking about a Super Bowl winning coordinator who normally is a head coach somewhere after that. Well, Washington's getting him, and it's not a lateral move. I know a lot of people are saying, why would you leave Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey and Andy Reid in Kansas City and come to Washington? Well, you're the same people that are saying he's not calling the plays.
Yeah. You can't have both ways. I know. That bothers me. But I do want to ask you, so why? But to you, why do you think he chose Washington? Like, why did he choose Washington? Because it's his choice. It's not. It ain't Washington. It's his choice.
Listen, I was just on with our good friend Winston Hilton on ABC the other day, and I said, if you look at the talent on this Washington team at the skill positions, running backs, wide receivers, and even the group of the tight end, obviously collectively they probably still aren't better than Travis Kelsey. I mean, he's top 2-3 tight ends of all time. I mean, seriously. But collectively, they got some talent in the tight end room too. And if you can get Logan Thomas healthy, and get him back to where he was before he got injured, with Bates and some of these other guys, Turner and at tight end, it's not bad. Yeah. But if you look at the skill positions, the wide receiver room, the running back room, listen, you remove Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelsey from Kansas City's offense. Are you telling me that they have more talent than Washington?
Totally agree.
Maybe
the offensive line is better. It's better. Yeah, it's better.
Absolutely. Yeah. But other than that, no.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
If I'm Eric Bieniemy and I'm like, what better place to prove myself than an organization that's trying to come back up, an organization that's getting ready to have ownership change. Now, I think another thing that no one's mentioning, no one's talking about, what tree did the current coach, of course, Ron Rivera, come from?
The Reed.
Right.
We start off here.
Absolutely. Yeah. So he and Bieniemy have history too. They know each other. So I just think it was more or less, okay, I'm going to leave Coach Reed's tree or Reed situation, and I'm going to go somewhere else where I still know the person, I'm familiar, and I can be me. I can, so Ron Rivera's rooting for Eric Bieniemy to be successful too, because it helps him. So I give Ron Rivera a lot of credit for doing this. I mean, come on, Wole. You and me are saying this probably should have been done with Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But it didn't happen. So now
this is better though. I ain't gonna lie to you. This is better though. This is better though. This is better though.
Oh yeah. It's like Christmas in February, right? It's Christmas in February. One thing I wanted to bring up real quick, that you brought up. When you look at Eric Bieniemy and you talk about guys who've gotten head coaching jobs before him, they pulled Jeff Saturday. Indianapolis Colts pulled Jeff Saturday to become a head coach. If anything else, off the street, to become a head coach, and you have this guy who won at this time a Super Bowl, who diagnosed, who designed plays, who can get guys open, and he can't get a job. And now he's at a point where, in essence, in theory, this is my view, nobody else's. He has to prove himself again to be qualified to be a head coach. In other words, you got to separate yourself from Andy Reid. But it's amazing how we say that. Nobody was saying that anybody got to separate themselves from Scott Turner. You know what I'm saying? North Turner back in the day, right? You think about it. When you winning, it's again when it's the double standard. If this was the African American coach who's calling plays, who win the Super Bowls, would his white counterpart have to separate himself to go get a head coaching job?
I mean, we all know the answer, and
we all know the answer to that. But that's the question the NFL got to ask themselves: why does he can't get his job?
They do, and it's just a bad look. I mean,
it is.
It's a bad look, man. I mean, we go through it in the media. We see it sometimes on the field where there's preferential treatment. I mean, we hear about quarterback play, how technically running quarterbacks. Josh Allen runs the football.
Yes.
Joe Burrow can put the ball down if he has to. Patrick Mahomes made the biggest play in the Super Bowl by running the ball for 30 yards to get in field goal range. when you hear these kind of narratives, that's dirty word code talk right there, man. That's what it is. And we're programmed to, I don't want to say accept it, but we're programmed to try to diffuse it. And it just, we shouldn't have to be that way. It's just not right. I mean, it's not right for this man to have been in, what is that, 4 Super Bowls? 2 Super Bowl wins.
2 Super Bowl wins.
Come on. You telling me that if you the Texans and you already stink, you can't pull a plug and take a chance? I mean, come on, man. The problem with Black coaches is that when we do get an opportunity, it's normally the worst opportunities.
That's the problem. That's the problem. That is the problem.
And then when we get those, we get those worst opportunities, we're not given a long leash. We're given one year to show that you can turn it around.
Yeah, that's what Texas do.
You can't turn around a downtrodden organization that was already downtrodden and a dog before you got there. Yeah. You got to have time to get things in play. So for me, I think that this whole scenario with Eric Bieniemy right now, I think this was almost like Glenn said, this Christmas in February. If you're a Commanders fan, you should be ecstatic, because rather, whatever the situation is with him, whatever the narrative is with him, I can tell you a narrative right now that's fat out, facts. He's better than Scott Turner.
Way better.
That's all that matters.
Way better.
Way better. So I actually tweeted this.
Red zone better.
Way better. I tweeted the same question I asked later about why do folks think that Bieniemy came to DC. My man TB Take says opportunity to display his ability to scheme and maximize some good offensive weapons and possibly seize the elusive head coach opportunity sooner than later in DC. I'd all go as well. I don't think you said that wrong, but yeah, it would all go well. I think that's what you meant to say. It would all go well, but. Yeah, I agree with that. I do think that the opportunity in DC too, like that's one of the many teams, that would be interested in him being a head coach if he's successful. Like you were already on a team it's an easy transition, right? You're already on this team right now where if you coach well or whatever that may be, whatever that narrative is or whatever, he could be the head coach of this team. And if it works out to a point where say ownership saying, you know what? We won a bowl and Rivera stays as the head coach, there's another opportunity elsewhere. He's destined to get that job, because if you get a Super Bowl in Washington, you're destined, or any type of real success in Washington, you're destined to get a job elsewhere. You know what I mean? So it's a win-win situation for him, for real. Because what you said late.
And I don't think he's looking at having to leave DC.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No, I mean, and the other thing that I think people have to remember too is that, DC's the Mecca, man, for minorities, for African Americans specifically, thriving and doing well. And I'm sure his wife, and he's a family guy, comes there and sees this and knows about it as a former player, but hears it and realizes, this is, I could be part of the change to get the organization back to where it was at, a long time ago, but. Just during his time, he remembers the Redskins at that time to be something. And now as the Commanders, he can usher in that new era and really bring this thing to a modern outfit, because offensively, they just didn't do what they were supposed to do. And they had the talent. And you saw the glimpses of what the individual, the plays Jahan Dotson were making. Can I do it?
I knew you were gonna do it. I knew you were gonna start with him. That's why I was quiet. So I'll let you go ahead. Do it.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna let
do
you,
it. No, do it. Because you started with him.
We are. I mean, but you see the plays like these guys make. He's nice with it. He's
real nice, man. Real nice.
That's what I'm saying. But Curtis Samuel, obviously Terry's a Pro Bowler. You've got weapons all across the board. We haven't even mentioned their 4th or 5th receivers.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna get a chance now. He's gonna get a chance now, man. He's gonna get a chance now, man.
One thing about the running backs, and people forget it too. You got Sam Howell, who is a baller, right? Because you can look at the mindset. You look at a mindset of a Patrick Mahomes and look at a mindset of a Sam Howell.
Good point.
The mindset is about the same, and you got a young kid who's talented enough, and you got an offensive coordinator who know how to develop young quarterbacks. Which we had, the Washington organization haven't had an offensive coordinator in a while that can develop a young quarterback. But you have one with Eric Bieniemy that know how to deal with a young, hungry quarterback.
And you know what, guys? I keep telling people, don't look at Mahomes so much. Look at the times when Mahomes had to come out of a game.
Man, that's what I'm saying.
Whatever.
That's what I'm saying.
Backup quarterback came right in.
Chad Henne, when Chad Henne came in, still was able to do it.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So
Alex Smith.
He made Chad Henne, Alex Smith. He's had all these guys looking good, you know. So I look at Sam Howell and I'm thinking he had to have known. I mean, I'm sure Kansas City scouted this guy too. You know, I'm sure they possibly were thinking about taking him as he was falling in the draft where he shouldn't have fallen to the 5th round.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they were thinking maybe he might be a guy we can use, you know, bring in here and develop to be a backup or whatever. But the point is, Sam Howell's got all the tools. Now, before we coronate, you know, Sam Howell, because I'm a Sam Howell fan, I will tell you that if you tell me I have to pick between him, Taylor Heineke, and Carson Wentz, of course, I'm going Howell. Yeah. We were saying last year many times he should have been playing earlier. We've been saying that. You know, but I will say this, I'm still on the go try to see if you can get Lamar trained. That's just me. And I think you pair Lamar up with Bieniemy and the weapons that are here. That's a freight train on the making.
I'm gonna address the Lamar thing because I'm a big believer in Lamar. I'm gonna address it. No, I don't talk about Lamar. I don't even talk about him because I know it ain't gonna happen.
I mean, listen.
I want Lamar, but I know it ain't gonna happen. That's why I don't even talk about it.
You can't. But we got to speak things into existence. You know why? Because did you think you were gonna get Eric Bieniemy? No.
I didn't know what I didn't. So everybody kept I heard a little bit of chatter. Then I was like, why do people keep talking about Eric Bieniemy? Like, why are folks talking about him?
Yeah, I just was hoping it wasn't he wasn't that token interview, you know.
Yeah, I didn't.
But then I'm thinking,
I
technically, we have a minority coach already.
That's true.
So I was like, that can't be the case, and I put it together that they come from the same tree.
Yeah,
so I'm like, okay, this really could be in play. Yeah. And let's face it, Ron knows. This is it for you.
You know. Can't be played.
I've been saying it. We Wole. You know, I've been saying.
You have, yeah.
I've been saying it for a while. Yeah. The 8-8 saved who he is, and the 8-8 saved him, and change in ownership.
Change ownership saved him. Change ownership saved him.
Change ownership saved him because I don't care about the division championship at 7-9. No one cares about that. Right,
yeah, we over that.
That means you haven't had a winning season since you've been with the organization.
And in your career record, you only have 3.
Yeah, not that dude.
So for him to do what he did, I think is a brilliant move. It's a brilliant move. But now you got to make sure that you got the guy that could help Howell, and I like Sam Howell, and I think he's young. I think he clearly had first round talent. Why he fell still
baffles me.
But come on, man, we're talking about a 24-year-old and that's already been a league MVP.
I know,
and has never had anybody to throw the football to. I mean, as far as collectively, he's never had those kind of weapons.
Yeah.
If you're telling me right now that if Lamar Jackson somehow they could pull this off, where they're not fleeced by players, but they're just giving up. Okay, you give up a first rounder this year, first rounder next year, maybe 2 second rounders over the next 2 years. I'm hand gift wrapping that and delivering it to Baltimore.
Yeah. Look, that's
a no-brainer.
I'm just saying. I'm taking Lamar. I love Lamar. Okay, I'm taking Lamar. I just know Baltimore ain't giving us Lamar. They ain't giving us Lamar. They ain't giving us Lamar. They don't like us enough to give us Lamar.
I tell you what, if they don't drop 45 on him,
they're gonna drop 45.
They're gonna have to.
They have to.
They're dragging their feet, man. They're dragging their feet. You think long, you think wrong, man.
Listen, right. If they drop 45 on them, basically, that's an exclusive, from tag.
Yep.
That still doesn't mean you can't trade people, though.
No, you can still trade them.
You can still trade them. But the asking price is going to be 2 first rounders, maybe 3. And if I'm Washington and I'm looking across the board and I'm looking at all these young players that you've stockpiled over the last 3-4 seasons, you're gonna have to start paying guys too.
Yeah, you gotta let some go.
So my thing is, maybe sometimes people say, well, you should be playing guys on rookie contracts because it's cheaper. No, not necessarily, because the higher they're drafted, if they do produce, you're going to have to pay steep.
Yeah.
So my thing is, right now, I can go out and get this line jacked up with some free agents and a couple mainstays that are already here.
Yeah.
But everything else is set. And you bring Lamar here, it's on. I mean, it's on and popping. And that's what I want to do, literally.
But I would say this, though. Because of this coach, I mean, you could go that route. I would love Lamar here. So I'm not that person that's gonna be like, no, why wouldn't you trade? Like when there's a talent like Lamar Jackson, and if Baltimore's really willing to listen, if you throw him a deal, then see what happens. I'm not against that. Like that's like we're talking about MVP candidates, one of the best players in the league, period. So I'm not against that. But I will say this about Sam Howell though. What I do like about the pairing with Sam Howell and Eric Bieniemy is that I know that Patrick Mahomes said like his first couple of years in the league, he didn't really read plays well. Like he couldn't really read defenses. Mm-hmm. And that told me that the offensive coordinator, that staff, offensive staff, I'm gonna use that term. They put him in a position to make it easy to find a wide receiver, right? Not to have him sit back or a 7-step drop and try to dissect the defense. No, they made it easy. They did certain plays, screen plays. Some plays that just his eyes can get there easy, and the wide receivers already open. It's like pitch and catch. So that tells me that if they can do that with Sam Howell, like Sam Howell, we saw what we need to see out of Sam Howell in that one game in terms of what he can do. Like he can throw an accurate deep ball. He's able to run. He can ad lib a little bit. He can ad lib, and he can throw. He throws a nice ball. Like he throws a nice slant pass. Too. Yeah,
and he's a dog.
Yeah, he's a dog, and he's a dog. So he can do certain things. They'll put him in positions where he doesn't have to read. Like Eric Bieniemy will put him in a position where he doesn't have to dissect the defense thoroughly and grow from there little by little.
Well, the other thing people have to remember too is that at Texas Tech, Patrick Mahomes was in a kind of like pistol run and shoot type thing.
Run shoot.
But Sam Howell at Carolina under Mac Brown, they run a pro offense.
They do.
So the game was a little slower to him already. And that's why, we weren't buying that whole he's not ready narrative put out there. And I'm like, he's not ready, but the guy who's been in the league for all these years is doing these things. So that means somebody not coaching these guys up. And we already knew what the answer to that was. Yeah. So, and I still feel like going back and watching the tape of that Cowboys game, the regular season finale, they left so much on the table that Eric Bieniemy's not doing. I mean, they should have beat Dallas. They should have beat Dallas by 30 points.
I agree.
We talked about that. There was so much in the red zone. There was so many points left on the board. It was ridiculous.
Absolutely. That falls back to coaching again. So, yeah, man. I'm excited. I'll be at the press conference tomorrow. Just looking forward to hearing what Eric has to say. What he envisions, and I do want to ask him. Obviously, you can look at your receivers and running backs and see that you have a plethora of young talent there. But did you actually say to yourself, I like this kid Howell, that I really feel like he's got some similarities to Mahomes. And before anybody thinks I'm going crazy by saying that, I'm not talking about arm strength. And I mean, Sam Howell does have an arm.
He got a dog arm. Like he got an arm.
But I just mean you know
arm talent. Yeah, arm talent like him. Arm talent like him.
But I think there's some intangibles that he reminds me of, like you said, of Patrick Mahomes, in the sense that they're gamers, man. They're not gonna what I kept telling people was Sam Howell to me is a combination of Carson Wentz with the arm talent and Taylor.
I agree. I totally agree. I totally agree.
And he got the smarts. But he also got the intelligence. I mean, you play for Mac Brown, right? You play for a high level, one of the winningest football coaches in this era, right? You play for a guy who knows the system, who's been through a whole bunch of quarterbacks, and you don't have to be you can't be a dummy and be in UNC, right? You gotta be right to get into you have to be a smart guy. And so he studied the game, and what's one thing that people always talk about and you can't measure is that dog, right? When you got a chip on your shoulder, he has a chip on his shoulder. You don't think he feels same type of way Lamar Jackson felt when he dropped? Sam Howell figured he was a first rounder, maybe second rounder. This dude dropped to the 5th round. We see what happened when you had another dog. I'm not comparing to Brady, but when Brady fell to the 6th and he had a chip on his shoulder, what happened? He became the greatest of all time and 7 Super Bowls. You know what I'm saying? So you got a guy who has a chip on his shoulder that wants everybody to play, and you saw that in the Cowboy game when he came out. He was like, "You know what? I'm playing. I'm laying all. This is my one chance, my one shot. I'm putting it all on the line."
I mean, he made throws in that game that Taylor Heineke doesn't even dream he can make. You know, and you know the slant route for the first touchdown, the deep ball to McLaurin down the sideline. He showed us every throw imaginable in one game, in his one start. And the other thing that I think Bieniemy's probably thinking about too with Sam Howell is he hasn't had enough time to be screwed with.
Yes.
You know, from a mechanic standpoint and all that stuff. So he's fresh. He's brand new. I can come in here, mold and grow with this guy. And perhaps, you know, one day end up being his head coach, you know, just keep this thing going. It's a good time, man. It really is.
No, it definitely is. Well, let's go. Let's leave the whole, you know what I mean, Eric Bieniemy. Lake gonna see him later. You're gonna see him later tomorrow. So we're gonna leave Eric Bieniemy. But it's a good day for Eric Bieniemy. It is. It's a good time for Washington fans. But let's go to a player on the defensive side of football. My man Daron Payne had a great year. Love Daron Payne. Daron Payne. It's been reported that Daron Payne, that the Commanders are expected to use the franchise tag on Daron Payne. The tag will cost the team about $18.5 million in cap space this year. Is this good, or is this a good thing or bad thing for the Commanders? For the Commanders, or for fans in general, that the Commanders have decided to franchise Daron Payne?
No, that's a great thing. I mean, let's face it. I mean, that defensive line was drafted to be the centerpiece for this franchise. You know, John Allen, Daron Payne, that was the same draft class. And then obviously Montez Sweat and then Chase Young. So you solidified what you were trying to do, building the trenches. And it took them a couple years to really get it going, like all of them get it going together. But I think, you know, with Chase coming back next year, a year healthier and an off season of work, I just think it makes perfect sense. And then the other thing that I think no one remembers here, because the kid got hurt in the first couple plays of the first game, but Mathis, now you've got that depth that you need too. And he was balling too before he got hurt. So
preseason, he was good in preseason.
Yeah, he was. So you think about that with Daron being re-signed or franchised, John Allen, Ridgeway. I mean, listen, man, you know. It's some things brewing here, and I think that's another thing. Bieniemy's like, you know what? Kansas City defense did play lights out. You know, this year in the playoffs.
But they ain't this though.
Right, but they've never ever had this kind of setup. And I'm thinking, he's thinking, what could my offense do if we don't have to be on the field the whole game to win these games? Literally. Yeah, man, it's a lot of little things that people don't think about that I'm sure that man's smart enough, but he's not smart. He don't call all the plays, but you know. Come on.
He know. Yeah, because he's not smart to recognize that, right? Like he's not smart enough to recognize that. Yeah, he don't know about that.
He didn't recognize, he don't recognize that Eagles player is going to run across the field with him and his wide receiver's going to be wide open, right? You know what I'm saying? But
it's wild, because you know, fans are always gonna think when they see the term franchise, they think about Kirk Cousins and how that game prolonged. And the fear is that they don't know if Daron really wants to be here. Is your opinion that Daron wants to be here?
Man, Daron want to be where that money is gonna be jingling.
I know, right? Is it true? Daron let that be known. He want that bag. He let that be known.
That's the thing. You want to be where you're wanted. And if I'm already successful in a situation and that situation wants to now reward me financially with more money than I've ever had, that's a no-brainer that you stay and you do that. Like, this isn't time to check your ego and be worried about I'm leaving because they drafted this other guy. I mean, God takes care of things, man. You know, Daron Payne had his best year of his career after the guy got hurt, you know, so that's a testament to him because he could have checked out. He could have been like, oh, now y'all coming back to me. No, that wasn't the situation. And I think people have to remember that him and John Allen played together in college. They're good friends, and we know about the fight and all that stuff, man. But you fight with your brothers all the time. That's just normal behavior. Maybe not exposed on national TV, but at the end of the day, it showed me that they're competitors.
Yeah, exactly.
And it seemed like since that fight happened,
they different. He different.
It's been lights out ever since.
Yeah, they've been totally different. I mean, sometimes you need that. That's a wake up call, right? That's when your brother talks to you and shake you up like, yo, no, we can do this. And I think, and we people don't talk about it, but again, Daron had a great season, and I gotta say it, he had a great season without Chase Young. The defense was great without Chase Young. I'm sorry, man. We got to go there, dog. I'm sorry. The defense was great without Chase Young. And you go there and realize, again, and this goes to the franchise tag. You can franchise tag Daron Payne, trade Chase Young. We talked about trading earlier for Lamar Jackson. Save you some money, bring some other young defensive guys in, or bring someone else on the offensive side of the ball, and then pay Daron next year.
All right, so this is my thing. This is my thing about this.
I don't even think they need to do that, though, to be honest with you, because of the injury to Chase Young, his market value has come down.
Yeah.
But now he's got to prove, like this year, third year, he's got to prove. I mean, I'm sorry, this is fourth year.
Yeah, they still not sure about the option. Yeah, you're right. They still not sure about the option. Yeah,
absolutely. So he's got to prove that. Yeah, they're not. I mean, but maybe he plays well, and then you extend that fifth year. So now that's almost like an extra franchise tag for you, for unless you got to do this again next year with Daron or whoever. Let's face it, you got Terry under contract finally. You got Allen under contract finally. You think of who else will be coming up for a big
Cam Curl. Cam Curl.
But Cam Curl, because of his injuries, maybe you don't see his full market value. So a lot of these guys, have to prove where they are, as far as being on the field and being able to stay on the field. So the only guy that you really worried about leaving would have been Daron Payne. So you franchise him. He's going to get the bag and he's going to be perfectly fine.
Yeah, he's going to get the bag. Yeah, he's going to get the bag.
I'm all for this. I'm all for, this is my thing. I want everybody in the building for 1 year. I want everybody with Eric Bieniemy. I want everybody in the building for just 1 year. So 1 year, I know this because you can't keep. And this is the fear that many had when we were looking at that defensive line. This is the fear. Somebody has to go, right? But you have this one. Now you have a year where the stars have kind of aligned correctly, where you have this offensive-minded coach that can help this offense give you about. All you need is about 25. 25 average. That's all you need is 25 average with that defense. It could be special. So if I'm Daron Payne, I'm thinking to myself, all right, man, they franchise me. I mean, I wanted to go on the market. If they franchise me, if I can't work the long-term deal, it is what it is, right? I'm gonna get, but you know what? If with that coach over there, and if I do my job, that money's gonna be way more. It's gonna be much serious because it's a winning team now. I'm getting that money with a winning team.
And sometimes people don't want to hear this, but this is a cold reality. Black players will play for a winning black coach.
Oh, by far.
There's no question in that.
Yes.
And I hate for people who are watching right now to think that we're just throwing that out there, to throw it out there. That's a fact. I mean, that's they will tell you that.
Yes.
And that's on all levels. I'm gonna put out there. That's from the high school level.
Absolutely.
To the college level to the pro level.
Yeah. Why you think Marvin Lewis had a job for so long?
Yeah. And I'm saying especially a black coach that's been successful.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And been kind of wrong. So you don't think these guys are thinking, you know what, we're gonna get one for him.
They're gonna play for him. You won't hear that stuff you won't hear that stuff that they were saying about Scott Turner at the end of the season. You won't have that with this dude.
No, you won't have that. Not at all.
You won't have that. You won't have that. You won't have that at all. So do you think? So do you think can this team afford to let Daron Payne go? Can they afford to? Okay.
No. He's one of your building blocks. I mean, he's and not even a building block. They're there. They just need a coach. The talent's there.
Yes, it is.
They just needed the proper coaching, and I think they got it. I think kind of pains me. But Jack Del Rio got him playing. He did.
It's the truth, man.
So you got to give him credit. Give credit
Yes.
where credit is due. He got them playing football. I still think that they need to play more downhill. And
Me too.
I still think their corners need to come up, not play 10 yards off.
I agree.
But they did. They played well. And I think, when you have all these guys coming back from these injuries, because unfortunately their secondary could never really keep the same guys on the field. Benji St. Juice missed like the last 7 games almost.
Yeah.
Cam Curl missed a lot of games. So now you get all these guys come back in here. And I'm going to say it, I tweeted it out. At 16, if my dude from Penn State is sitting there.
Too. I want him. I want him, right? I want Porter's son. I want his son. I want him.
Hey, listen, man.
I want him, man.
You telling me him and St. Juice on both sides, that's something right there.
I want him.
Rangy physical corners. Yeah. That will come up and hold you a lot.
I want him. That's who I want. That's what I want. I want him. But see, I wouldn't even we say St. Juice. See, this is the thing. Like, no knock on St. Juice, but I said this, and Glenn knows I'm gonna keep saying it. At the end of this, like towards the middle of when William Jackson III left, everybody's boosted about St. Juice. I get you, that's cool. He played well. But the best corner was really like Fuller.
To me, I think the most consistent corner was Danny Johnson.
I thought he was solid when he got to play. No, that's different though, because they were screwing with his time. I thought Danny was amazing. I don't think a lot of people give him credit. I thought he was amazing. But I'm saying when they were giving
slot, I think Danny. See,
awesome slot.
In my world, I would like to see Danny Johnson in the slot, and then you'd have St. Juice and Porter.
I would do that too because it's younger. I would do that too.
And Fuller still would be kind of like the veteran. To teach guys stuff and be that nickel guy, but let's call it like it is. The last impression people remembering of Kendall is the interceptions against the Cowboys. Dak basically could have just ran over and handed him the ball because he missed the first one, and the second one, next play,
perfect.
Went right back there.
That's 2 though. He had 2 pick sixes. The Texans game too. He had, he had pick sixes.
But Kendall, but say what you want, because Kendall's a great guy.
Yeah,
I mean he's lost a step. There's no getting around that. So you do need to really. I mean, if the right player's there, I don't mind using my first round pick on a corner if it's there. If it's the Kid Gonzalez from Oregon, I mean, you might have to pull the trigger on these guys.
Kid from Georgia might be there. Kids from Georgia might be there.
The kid from Georgia, you got it. You either one of that. Was that McPherson or
both of them might be there. Both of them tough. Both of them tough.
Look, you have to run to the podium.
Yeah, man.
One of those 3 guys is sitting there.
But see, that's my thing. Is that if the proper left tackle's there, you gotta get. I feel like you could take that too. I feel like a left tackle is needed though.
Yeah, because I'm not sold on Cosme.
I'm sorry.
Cosme's more of a guard.
Yeah, I feel like
you also need a linebacker though. I'm still saying you still also need a linebacker in the middle.
Yeah, I bet you get a linebacker in the second round. Though. I think you get one in the second though. You can get a line in the second. You can get a linebacker in the second though.
Had Kobe Dean there in the 4th last year, didn't take.
They didn't take him. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like you would get one.
Like my God.
Yeah, like you could get a linebacker, because I mean, if you're not going to re-sign Holcomb, then
Holcomb's not the answer to me at middle linebacker. I'm
sorry.
But
you know who? No, they going to move West in the middle though. Jamin get moved to middle.
Jamin's an outside linebacker.
Oh, they liked him, but they had him playing Mike a lot last year towards the end. They had him rotate, and he didn't look bad either. And he didn't look bad.
Oh no, Jamin had a great second year, but he's a guy they could be blitzing on the outside.
Oh, I agree. No, I totally agree with you. I'm just saying that Jamin showed me that he could do both. That's why I was so impressed. Towards the end of the
he got better in coverage too. Getting the back. After the first couple of games, he got burnt. He got better as the year progressed with maintaining his assignment.
Yeah, but I would get a linebacker. I would get a linebacker too. I should get one in the second. I just think they need. I mean, Leno. Like everybody gets. I mean, I think Leno was solid. I just think that you need a better left tackle. Like I just feel like you can move him to right tackle if you want to, and then you say you can then rotate Cosme to a guard. I just feel like you need that dog at left tackle. I'm spoiled. Like I'm gonna keep saying I've been spoiled with Trent for years, and
knowing that he's a first ballot Hall of Fame.
I know, bro. Like so
and then you see what Morgan Moses did his first year in Baltimore.
That Morgan, that too.
Come on, man. I mean, you had potentially one of the best offensive lines in the league.
And Brandon Sheriff in
Sheriff
Jacksonville.
And Flowers. I mean, you had guys across the board, and Chase Roulier obviously gets hurt a lot, but he's a good center. So you had one of the best lines, and you gut it.
Got it. And some for no, and you let some people go for no reason.
No reason.
For no reason.
And then you overpay a quarterback that needs a line in front of him.
Exactly.
Trent was ready to go.
Oh yeah, Trent was ready.
All you had to do is
Trent, my guy, and I'm gonna tell y'all straight up. If you opened up the bag,
that's exactly. You would have been here. I know. As I'm saying, I know this. That's what bothers me.
Of course,
that's what bothers me. If Ron said,
he felt disrespected.
Yeah, it wasn't. They didn't give him the money that he wanted. That's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah, deserved. Like you see it now. Like he's in his late 30s and still the best left tackle in football.
He looked better in San Francisco than he did here.
He was cleaner.
He was happier. He got like the fountain of youth in San Francisco.
No,
I mean, when Trent played in San Francisco, they got police officers on the field because he out there mugging people.
I love about Trent. Trent play angry. I know that thing went viral when he got mad after they lost, but that's just how Trent is. He plays angry. I love
Richard Sherman, you know.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I'm okay with that.
He may want to stay away from Richmond for a while, though.
Right. Yeah.
He may want to stay away from Richmond.
Yeah.
I love Trent, man. I miss him a lot. Hey, Lake, man, thanks for being on, my man. Let our listeners know what you have coming down the pike and how they can catch you on social media.
Oh, man, you can check me out on most social media platforms, on Twitter at Lake Lewis, Instagram and Facebook at Lake Lewis Jr. Of course, you can go to sportsjourney.com. I just put up an article about Eric Bieniemy and how, people don't, need to sleep on what he's going to be able to do here, potentially. So, that's up on the site. Yeah, man, just a lot of stuff going on. After Practice Podcast, you can check that out as well. Subscribe to that or watch it on YouTube. So just a lot of good stuff going on, man.
Hey, man, check them out, man. Lake always got stuff popping, man. That's just how Lake do it. You know what I mean? You know how Lake do. You're right. You know what time it is. Anyway, this has been a dope show. Anyway, you've been listening to All Burgundy and Go Errrything, powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia. For ages. You dig? Deuces. Hey, Mega. This is our big homie.